Hey there, Becky here. So, what I would like to talk about in this video is writing retreats. Yes, a retreat just to write your dissertation. This year, I did my very first online writing retreat, and that worked really well. It was so wonderful to gather with a group of women who were committed to the day to getting their work done. And we had a set schedule where we, worked for periods of times and then had some breaks and had some fun, had some, a time to have some lunch. And then we came back and did some more work. And people left the day feeling really accomplished and like they had gotten a lot done. So that was the first time I'd done that. And previously, I had offered, a few years ago, a number of years ago now, some students that was working with were kind of just talking about, wouldn't it be great to get away and do some writing together? And I was like, I can organize that. I can organize a writing retreat. So I did that. So we found a place, and I created a schedule. Together we figured out food. It was kind of a potluck thing, and we brought some. Well, they brought some wine, and it was such a great weekend. It was really clear when we were working, when we had social time. Um, what the boundaries were around, when people could interact with each other and when we needed to be quiet and really focused. Because I was a professor and they were my students, then I also had like periods of time where they could come and they could, schedule some time with me just to kind of hash out their dissertations. And it was great. And so we did it annually until COVID hit, and then things needed to change. So what I'd like to do is I want to tell you a little bit about how you can create your own writing retreat. And I'm going to say all of this as if you're going to go away, but you don't have to. You could also do it at home if you wanted to, right? You could create your own writing retreat at home. A little bit more difficult because, especially if you have other people in the house, because you have to do a lot of like managing and maneuvering around people and letting people know that you're unavailable, but it's still doable. So I'm going to talk about what to do if you're going to try to get away, because that can be really powerful. So the first thing is to find. I'm going to talk about 5 steps. Okay. The first step is to find a place. So you can book a hotel. You can find a friend that maybe is going away for a weekend, and you can go stay at their place. You could do an Airbnb or a VRBO. So just finding a place, right? And a place that feels comfortable to you. Some people love hotels. Some people are like, no, it's too industrial, right? And I'd rather be in an Airbnb. Some people don't feel safe in Airbnb. So whatever, like just know yourself and find a place that feels good in your body. Some people like to be more in the city and kind of get the energy of the city, and other people like to be in nature. I'm more of a nature person. Like, get me out, so that I can, on breaks, go walk in the forest or, just kind of be in the trees and be in nature. So just be aware of like what kind of a setting will feel good to you. Um, Try not to go to too exotic of a place. I know of a woman who booked a place in Mexico for the week, and she was so distracted by the beauty and by wanting to just be, out out and about, that she didn't get quite as much done as she had hoped. So beware of that. I personally love to get away, whether it's for a work retreat or not. Sometimes I just need my own like times away, and so I will book a VRBO or an Airbnb at a island nearby called Vashon Island, and I'll just go for a few days, and either I'll choose to do work or I'll choose to just be in silence and just be by myself for a few days. So this is a thing that I love doing, and I hope that you try it out if you're not already kind of a getaway kind of person by yourself. Uh, and in a minute, actually, I'll talk about you don't have to be by yourself. Okay, step 2, think about what to bring. So if you are cooking for yourself, then bring your food. Like, you want to try to lessen the amount of friction or kind of like responsibilities that you have while you're there, right? So if you want to buy prepared food, do that. If you want to buy, stuff that you're going to cook because that actually is enjoyable to you, great, do that. But just kind of, think ahead, create your menus, have a plan, and bring the food. Bring all of your notes and articles and computers and cords. So everything that you need to be doing the work. Okay. Make sure that the place that you have has internet and that it's available. You're not to spend a bunch of money to pay for it or whatever. And then I always want to bring like a my favorite kind of comfort items, like the type of tea that I like, a blanket or a pillow, my most comfortable clothes, sweatpants and sweatshirt and whatever. So just be aware of like you're really intentional about moving into this space and what makes you feel um, comfortable and productive. What's going to help you the most, right? Number three, letting go of distractions. So you want to tell people that when you're going away, you want to let your family and friends know, I'm going away to not be disturbed, or I'll check in with you once in the evening, or whatever it is. But just be really clear on your boundaries, what's going to work best for you, and ask people to respect those boundaries, right? Not having the kids text you all day, or your partner calling up and saying, where's the cereal box? It's like, you figure that out, right? So just being really clear about that. And then also, use all of your anti-distraction, anti-procrastination tools that you have learned. So just be ready to, maybe you're just going to, use some tools to prevent distraction on your computer. You're going to turn off your phone while you're working. So you really want to use this time, like it's precious time. So don't waste it, right? Take advantage of it, use it well. Okay. Number four is schedule. So set up a writing schedule for yourself. So what time are you going to wake up? When are you going to eat? How long are your breaks? What time are you going to go to bed? When will you rest your brain and how will you do that? So again, intentionality. What is it that's going to help me be my most productive while I'm away? I want to take great advantage of this time away. Knowing that you also need breaks. And so I would suggest that you time block very clearly, so that you have a plan in place. And this is like really serious time blocking. Like I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to have breakfast from this time to this time. I'm going to go, for a walk at this point. I'm going to have lunch at this time. I'm going to work, for these 2 hours at this point and these 2 hours over here. Whatever it is, just be really intentional about it. Okay. And number five, go with a writing buddy or two, right? I personally like to go alone. Unless I'm facilitating it, I guess. But you can choose if you know that you're more accountable when you've got somebody to go with, then do that. Um, so if you do that, then it's important that you are on the same page, right? That together you've made agreements and maybe created the schedule together, so that you both have the same plans and agreements, or whatever that if you need shorter working times than your partner does, then your partner just knows that that you don't bother them when they're working, and vice versa, right? So just get on the same page, I guess is what I'm saying. Or if you need to, you can just set up accountability calls with somebody, right? It doesn't have to be that you actually go away with a person. You can set up accountability calls with somebody that will help you to be checking in throughout the day to make sure that you're staying with your plan and getting your work done. Uh, so when I first started my private psychotherapy practice, I needed to create a website, and on the website needed to be a lot of words, a lot of copy, they call it. And so for me, writing the copy was super overwhelming, and it was like months that I was taking to write the stuff, and I could not like get it out of my head and onto paper. And I could get notes. I had thousands of notes, but nothing was like coming together. So I finally said, screw it. I'm going to take a 3-day weekend, and I'm going to go get this thing done. And it has to be done by the end of the weekend. So I scheduled one call with an editor to be able to kind of check in and make sure that I was on the right page. And so I sat down and I, took all my notes, put them, all over a big, huge table, and started gathering them and writing copy. And then it's like by the end of the weekend, I had at least a draft of everything so I could send to the editor to kind of like say, okay, how does this look? Is this going to be okay? And I needed that. I wasn't getting it done. I mean, literally it was months that I was trying to kind of do it, every so often at home, but I needed to just like commit, get to a place, get to work and get it done. And it worked. It was great. So you can also do this, just for a day at home. I think I mentioned that earlier. And you can do it with a friend, either, co-working, either together physically co-working or just co-working, online, right? Just doing a virtual day-long co-working together. A dissertation retreat can be a huge gift to yourself. If you're struggling at a point, it's like there's some big rock in your way that you need to get over. It's like you can just schedule the retreat with the commitment that I'm going to get this thing done, and no matter what it looks like by the end of it, I'm sending it, to my chair or whatever. It can also be like if you've got a deadline coming up and you really want or need to meet a deadline. I have to, send in my proposal draft or the draft of whatever, right? So I'm going to set up some time to get that done, and I'm going to go away and get it done. So use it to your advantage, and it can be a great help to you. So there's also a PDF connected to this, just to kind of outlines everything that I said, and I hope that it goes well. Let me know. I always love hearing how things go.